All right. So today I want to talk about show day. Things you need to know about show day. I'm going to give you some real stories that I've seen as a coach, real things that have happened, and what I found to be solutions that can pay off in big ways. And also, I will tell you, I got a kick-ass guide for you that you can download. It's called the Backstage Blueprint. It's totally free. Go to teamflex.com/backstage blueprint. It's in the description also. And you can download that book. It goes through everything, right? Like literally, I was just going through it again. I was like, oh man, this thing is just a freaking gold mine that we created for you all, which is a show day checklist, competitor mindset, primer, keep your mindset in the game, post show rebound strategies, and family and friends survival guide. So it's not even just only for you; it's for the people around you that are going to be there supporting you on show day. And that's some of the stories I want to talk about. One of them being I was at a show once, and I was there with some competitors. I think we had maybe 4 or 5 girls competing. And they're going to go on stage, and one of my athletes had friends there, right? So she had some friends that were also competing that were I was not coaching, not part of the team, not part of any of that. But you do run into that, right? Bodybuilding is a very small industry. A lot of people know each other, and you might be on different teams, different coaches, whatever, but you're still friends and still doing even the same shows. And so this athlete, right? I had all my athletes dial in, everything that's honestly, it wasn't in the Backstage Blueprint yet because I hadn't created it, but we're already doing all those things. And one of the athletes instead, that again, she comes to me and she says, hey, Coach Ryan, my friend is having a problem. Is there anything that you would suggest that I could tell her to do? Right. And her friend is actually in the bathroom crying. And her class coming up, who knows when, could have been 15, 20 minutes at that point, could have been any time. Friends in the bathroom crying, losing her mind. And I'll tell you why. And it's very, you might think, what? How does that even make sense? How could you be so focused? How could you be so dedicated as an athlete and have that derail you? But her friend was crying in the bathroom because her mom had come to the show and her mom said that she didn't look good in her bikini. Okay. And so, you think you hear these things and you'd be like, well, why? How does that even affect somebody mentally, right? Aren't competitors so dialed in, so focused, so this and that? Yes, that's part of it. But the truth is, you will always be hearing outside influence. And a lot of time you hear it more because, competitors are always, posting physique updates, are always posting different content. You're going to hear comments, you're going to hear things, you're going to hear. And, sometimes it does come from the family or the friends at the event, and that's when it can really derail you. And literally, that's why I wrote that part of the book, which is the Friends and Family Survival Guide. It's literally for your friends and family to read. It tells you, hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't say this, don't say that. Let your person, let your athlete, let your competitor focus, go out there and do what they've put all this time, energy, effort, and finances into, right? Like, do not mess this up on show day. And unfortunately, I instantly was like, okay, well, here's what you can tell her. Try to tell her this, try to tell her that. But, I'm not her coach. I'm not trying to step on any toes. I'm definitely not walking in the women's bathroom. So, I just had to basically relay, hey, you could try to tell her this, that, and the other thing that maybe, that's going to help her out, get her mind right. And unfortunately, she did not end up ever coming out of the bathroom, folks. So she missed her class. She missed her show. She missed her opportunity. I didn't, end up honestly hearing any more about it, unfortunately. But she probably honestly didn't end up competing again. And that is something that happens, right? If you are a first-time competitor, somebody going into something and your show day is totally trash or it doesn't feel good, something's not right, you're not going to go do it again. It's very time intensive. It's very financially intensive. It takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to, get yourself ready for the stage. And unfortunately for her, she did miss that class, and that does happen, folks. It happens a lot for different reasons, and it's things you don't plan for, you don't prepare for. You can't cardio your way to not missing your class. You can't eat enough chicken to not miss your class. Like, these things happen for different reasons, and sometimes it's by choice, sometimes it's not. I'll give you another one, right? So there was this time I was at an event. Where was that one at? I think it was in Vegas. I think it was actually maybe a nationals event, right? And so there is all sorts of different, and I may have already talked about this on the channel, so forgive me if I did, but I'm going to talk about it again because it's just crazy. I don't think I did, actually. Maybe it's just one of these things I talk about to my people. But there was this event, right? Nationals, which, if you don't know, Nationals, NPC USA is what it was. It's a very big event where there's a lot of athletes and everybody's trying to get a pro card. So you're looking at very advanced competitors, a lot of competitors that are ready to roll, going out there trying to get themselves that pro card. Well, you never know what's going on backstage at events, right? Like, some events you go to, and it's like, wow, you have like a whole freaking giant room. Everything's covered in plastic, and they might even have like some seating for you. It's covered in plastic. They got paper on the floor. Everything's dialed. Everything's good. Some events you go to, and you're like, what the heck is going on? And I had to go try to communicate with one of my athletes who was back there backstage at the time. So I'm going backstage. I was able to do that because we were a sponsor at that event, so I had backstage pass to be there with my athletes. But I go backstage, I'm getting guiding back there. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, I'm getting taken by, one of the expediters or somebody who's running the stage. They're like, okay, back here's where all the girls are at. And I go and open the door, and I'm like, what in the? It literally looked like a sardine can. Okay, I swear it was just like all these competitors stacked on top of each other. I could not see any, and like bags everywhere, luggage, freaking, it smelled like just spray tan everywhere, and like it was crazy. I was like, what is going on here? I'm never going to be able to find my competitor. I couldn't even go in the room. There was not even a foot or two of room for me to step in because so many competitors in this one space laying down, putting their feet up, trying to. I was like, whoa, this is insane, right? Fortunately, my athlete, she had been kind of debriefed on like, hey, backstage, who knows what's going to happen? There's going to be a lot of girls here. Prepare yourself. Here's how you do it. You find your corner, you do this, you just set up your stuff, right? That's in the guide. It's all in the guide. So get the guide. Go download the guide. There's a lot of stuff to go over in there that will really help you master your show day. But I also saw a number of competitors there that were like totally out of sorts. You could see it, right? Like sometimes these competitors, they get the deer in the headlight look, and they're like, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they're going. And, it's the silliest thing because the littlest miss in these moments mentally can correlate to you go out on stage, you miss your posing, you go out on stage, you don't hit this right, you go on stage, you go deer in the headlight. I see it all the time, and it is simply because of silly things like that, right? Like you wouldn't think about it, but being jammed into a room with a bunch of other girls, now you're like looking at all of them, analyzing, oh, is she in my classes? Am I going to be better than her? Or is she going to be better than me? Or just even the idea of like, oh, I wasn't prepared for this. I can't lay down, I can't put my feet up, I can't get my earbuds in, I don't even have anywhere to sit, right? Like that's the kind of thing. So, that was crazy. That's another one of those things that was totally crazy. Those events, I mean, you never know what you're going to encounter backstage. There was another event that I went to once where, this still happens a lot. It comes up. So I don't even need to like say a specific event, but, there are many different stages. And on those stages are many different things. I've been to competitions where for some reason there's a giant hole in the one part of the stage in the back, maybe, and you got to walk by it or walk over it to get on stage. I've been to competitions that had literal holes in some of the stages, like that's not a good thing for anybody in heels, by the way. Like, these tiny little pebble quarter-size holes that would not be good. But even if you have the most perfect stage, a nice, clean setup stage, sometimes it's covered in carpet that you have never posed on, you never thought about posing on. Sometimes it's covered in different material you've never, done these things on. And those things, again, derail you, right? So there's a lot of tools, a lot of tips and things to how to prepare. And unfortunately, you don't get to know this a lot of time, right? So these are actual show day stuff. That's why I made the show day guide. It's literally the guide to mastering your show day experience. The things that I promise you that you haven't thought of, the things that I promise you you don't think about regularly, that your coach is not telling you, that your friends are not telling you, you're not registering for it, you're not thinking about it, you're not thinking about it, but it is make or break on that day. And you got to get in there. You got to check it out. That guide, I mean, it's insane. The 4 parts, again, show day checklist, right? This is the exact list that I give my athletes, what to pack, eat, pump up, all this stuff. How do you do it? How do you get all that ready? It's far more than just the list. It's also how to use it, right? Mindset primer. This gets you in. It gets you locked in so that you're not sitting there losing your mind backstage, because you got to get there and get to that finish line. Post-show rebound, right? Okay, this is a good one. Let's talk about a story from that, because I actually do have one on the front of my mind. So there was a competitor that I used to coach, and she had come to me late in her prep, right? Sometimes that happens a lot where, you have a coach, you have a team, whatever you're doing. They're not coaching you well. They're not engaged. They got very generic stuff for you. They're doing maybe even dangerous or unhealthy things. And, you got to get a new coach. You got to get out of that. I am one of the first people to say, hey, if you got stuff like that going on, do not fight through it. Do not trust the process, so to speak. Get yourself out of that situation, get yourself back on, to what you need to be doing to take care of your health. Because a lot of damage that you can do to your body, your hormones, your metabolism is permanent in this sport, unfortunately, and that's not talked about enough. But anyway, took her on pretty late in her prep. I think it was like 6-7 weeks out, something like that. And she consistently was asking me over and over and over about the post show, like, cheat week that she was going to have. And I was like, what is this cheat week? What are we talking? And it was a practice that her former coach had her do, where basically every single time she was done competing, she was done with the coach, right? The coach wasn't there, she paid through the show, whatever. Then she's on to cheat week. And then, progressively she gets herself back into some routine, and, she's going to eventually hire a coach again, right, when she's ready to compete. And I was like, wow, that is probably one of the worst things you can do, right? That rebound effect. And I see it all the time. I know you see it on Instagram from different people. They go to stage and they're lean, they're shredded. 2-3 weeks go by and they've gained 30-40 pounds body fat. These things are not healthy, folks. That happens a lot of times because of very unhealthy extreme things being done on prep. But also it is terrible for your body to, kind of yo-yo that rapid loss and that rapid gain. It's very hard on your organs, very hard on your hormones, your metabolism, everything. And again, that's where you can get in the pickle of getting some permanent, literal, issues for the rest of your life, health conditions. I've seen it time and time again. Literally, organ failure is possible. It's crazy to say that, but I've seen it in my career. It happens. So anyway, I was like, hey, there's not going to be a cheat week. Let's talk about what we're going to do here. It goes down to, I guess I lost my screen, but it goes down to, 1 week. We're going to go 1 day. We're going to have one meal. You can go have a free, let's plan it out. We're going to talk about how you're going to approach it. We're going to talk about how you're going to do it. We're going to go step by step through how that's going to happen. And then we're going to get right back to work. And I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next, right? You're not ghosting me after the show, or I wouldn't even take you on, because that's not how I believe in coaching. We have a lot of things that we want to make sure are going to happen right. Your metabolism, your hormones, your reverse diet, all of that, to ensure that you're operating most optimally, you're getting the best result, you're feeling the best. And we're not doing no cheat week. You're not going to rebound a lot of weight. You're not going to do all that. And, again, my guide goes over exactly how to do that, how to take on that, and how to, also, again, with the friends and the family, set some boundaries there. So they're not like, oh, okay, great, well, let's go get the pizza. Let's go get 12 donuts. Let's go get, this and that. And then tomorrow we're going to go to your favorite breakfast spot. 2 days from there, we're going to go get lunch. 3 days. That's all bad stuff for you. You don't want to do it. And honestly, if you feel like you have to, you probably did your prep wrong, because your prep shouldn't be that extreme. You should be doing sustainable, maintainable things. You should be able to eat the things you want on prep, frankly. Which, again, if you don't know how to do that, you're confused about how that's done, definitely go get the guide. It's all in there, and it's such a benefit. I've got nothing but positive feedback. My own athletes are getting there like, wow, this is great. I love it. We got plenty of people from other teams, other coaches. It's not a disrespectful thing to download a guide that's going to help you backstage. If you have a team, a coach, whatever, I promise you it's a good thing for you. You should do it. Check it out. Download it. If you guys want more videos like this, I know I've been talking a while. I don't know where I'm at, but I don't want to make like a 4-hour long freaking podcast here for you. But if you want more of these types of stories, more types, show day things, show day hacks, show day fixes, stuff to do, what to expect, how to get through that, let me know. I'll keep making these videos, all right? And as always, suggest me any content. I'd love to hear what you want to see on this channel, and I'll keep bringing it to you. Subscribe. 70% of you are not subscribed. Please subscribe. Coach Rye is out.